you one thing, if a little green man pops out of me, I'm shooting first and asking questions later.
You are on the verge of destroying the entire universe.
Welcome to the Strange Podcast with Sam and Logan.
If you enjoy the show, please go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you're listening, and please give us a good rating. If you want to share a story or have ideas for a future episode, you're welcome to visit us at www.thestrangepodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
This is a Strange Podcast. This is episode 19, and I'm Logan Marks.
And I'm Sam Baxter. Today is February 21st, 2018. What's going on, man? We're a little bit late than we usually do, right?
Well, the schedule's going to be a little different. We're going to go back to weekly. We got a lot of death threats and complaints. We got some underwear in the mail. It was men's underwear. We weren't very excited about that one. No. But we had to work out a situation where we can do it weekly because we did get a lot of complaints and a lot of fan letters, and we decided I think it would be best that if we could move around the schedule and have new episodes come out every Friday and Saturday, and kind of change the way we're recording, and we should be able to do it weekly again.
I think it'll be good. I think people will like that. We'll still be back to a week. It'll be great.
One of the emails I got, just to give it kind of a taste of what we were receiving after the announcements of bi-weekly.
This is harsh. Are you sure you want to share this with our good fans?
I'll have to, I think I should.
Okay. You should. Okay. Let's be tough about it.
All right. Dear Logan.
This is criticism.
Dear Logan, I've been listening since the beginning, and I'm upset that you're going bi-weekly. I finally gotten used to your annoying voice. Now you're bitching out. You're a disappointment to me and your family. Signed, your mother, Lindsay Marks.
Oh, fuck.
Thanks, Mom.
No, man.
You're the best.
Tough love, man. Tough love.
Yeah, it was always kind of tough love growing up, you know, change your own diaper.
Yeah. Make your own meals.
Make your own meals, you can
drive yourself to the doctor.
Suck on your own titty. Just a mean ass mom. But,
yeah.
I turned out okay.
Thanks, Lindsay. So news, didn't we have something going on with KFC?
Yeah, KFC's having some issues. Apparently they can't get enough chicken over there.
So this is in England, right?
They can't get enough chicken over there in England. It's getting to the point that it's getting so bad that their people are calling the police.
For chicken? Remember hearing about that with nuggets at McDonald's? Like people calling 911 because they didn't have nuggets and shit? Now they're doing that with KFC?
I guess, yeah. In London, KFC people, the fast food chain closed about half of its 900 UK outlets after operational issues with its new delivery firm, DHL. For those who contacted the police about KFC being out of chicken, please stop. Officers in Manchester pleaded. Police in London joined them in tweeting the chicken shortage was not a police matter. So basically people are calling the police and reporting that there's not enough chicken at KFC.
Fucking KFC. God. Well, it's not KFC's fault. Is it their fault or DHL? Maybe they should go UPS.
There you go. I don't know. Dude, is that how they... that's kind of weird. I didn't think they shipped stuff like chicken with
DHL. I don't know, man. Maybe that was a shady fucking contract they signed. They don't usually do that, so now they're behind on chicken?
Because I thought DSL was like a UPS or a...
Yeah, like for businesses, but who knows, man. Somebody dropped the ball on that one, or dropped the chicken, and now people are calling the cops. Well, another weird restaurant news, Burger King restaurant aired raunchy sex scene on TV dining room.
What?
So I guess a family walked in. When a father went in with the 7 and 8 year old boys in a Burger King in Michigan in the Southgate location on Sunday. And he didn't immediately realize what was airing on the TV. So the oldest son said, my oldest son said to my youngest son, "Don't look at the TV." And when the man looked up, he saw that it was basically a man fondling a woman's breast and thrusting himself on a woman. So it was basically... So at a public place that was showing porn, where you have a good meal.
Where you can have it your way.
Yeah, you can have it your way, man. You can have porn and eat it too. But Burger King issued a statement regarding the incident, saying it does not reflect on our brand. We value and encourage a culture of care and respect for all guests. The behavior does not reflect our brand values or the values of the franchisee who independently owns and operates the restaurant. The franchisee is investigating the incident thoroughly. So don't fret, people. I mean, hopefully there'll still be porn, but not at this place. They tried it and it's done.
You know how like on your phone you can program it to be like a remote. So I wonder if somebody went in there and like changed the channel.
You know, I don't know, but there's one last tidbit that I don't know if this is true or not, but the father that went in there, the oldest boy who saw it, he says, this is him quoting his statement, and I quote, "I feel like this will torment my eldest son." He told the news, adding that his 8-year-old has a photographic memory and suffers from ADHD. He says someone has to pay.
So he'll never get the image of sex out of his head.
No. Somebody must pay. So this guy's pissed, man. Understandably, you shouldn't be being able to watch porn like in a public place. But he sounds like he's like out for fucking vengeance now, this guy.
Like if it was my family and that happened, I'd be a little bit upset,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I'd be like, all right, kids, let's, we're just gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't make a big old fucking stink about it. We're at the point where you have to take it to the news.
and you're basically threatening them. Somebody must pay. Fuck, man. Take it easy, man. Take it easy.
I know.
You're making it sound like it's super horrible. I mean, that boy's gonna know in about 5-6 years what all that is. So he's just ahead of the curve.
Yeah, he'll actually be paying to try to get that in his
exactly. Yeah, I know.
He's gonna be upset later.
Yeah, why did you do it when I came alone? You guys know I come every Tuesday at 3. So what else you got in the news? You got anything new?
Speaking of naked ladies, the New York Fashion Week, they have these things called vagina wigs.
Excuse me? They're called what?
They're vagina wigs that are coming into fashion, I guess. They look like it looks like they just put a dead bird on their crotch.
What's the point of this?
I guess it's supposed to be fashionable, that it was like a piece that prostitutes would wear in the 1600s.
Why?
They would shave their private parts for health reasons, I guess. And so they would replace them with these little triangle hairy things,
like hair patches, like little wigs.
Yeah, kind of like little wigs, little pussy wigs, I guess.
Oh, man.
But I guess. So it looks like they were walking down the runways with these things.
And what's the point of these again? Tell me.
It's fashionable.
Fashionable.
Yeah.
So you're saying that like we can go to the beach in the summer and these women should be wearing these things?
I don't know if they're gonna wear them at the beach. They're kind of furry. I don't know if you'd want that in them getting wet. Probably like smell really bad after a while.
Man,
it'd be like Kramer when he couldn't get all that sand out of his shirt. All the sand would be in there.
So that's fashion now, huh?
That's the high fashion, New York fashion.
Oh man, New York, you got it good. I had no idea that you guys are making pussy wigs. But I didn't know you guys were out of ideas that you guys are making this shit now. But all right, so be it. So here's something, a tidbit. Man accused of beating his roommate during an argument over stale Captain Crunch. So an Alabama man was arrested last week. Yeah, he was arrested last week, accused of beating his roommate with a laptop power cord during an argument over stale cereal. According to the Mountville Times, the suspect became angry when his roommate, quote, tore the bag when he opened it and did not do anything to keep the cereal fresh. So
he didn't keep it fresh?
He didn't keep it fresh. Like, he opened the bag and he just let it open. It kept open for like a day or two, and it didn't stay fresh.
Oh, so he was trying to eat it and it was all stale? He got pissed off?
Yeah, I guess. Look, he asked him if he knew how hard it was to eat stale cereal without any teeth.
Man, even if you didn't, well, if you don't have teeth, it's still fucking hard, no matter how. Even if it's fresh, it would be shitty to eat that.
Exactly.
With no teeth.
But the paper reported the suspect demanded the victim take out his dentures and try to eat some of the cereal to see what it's like.
How old are these two guys?
I think he was 53. But after that, he started beating the guy with the laptop power cord. I guess he beat the shit out of him. He fucked them up for some Captain Crunch. Isn't Captain Crunch supposed to be the cereal that doesn't get soggy or stale? Remember Captain Crunch commercials? Wasn't it supposed to like stay?
It's well, yeah, but even then, it's like that stuff's so hard. Even if it is stale, you couldn't tell the difference.
I know. It was like coated in some type of polymer lacquer type.
I don't know. I know that shit would cut your mouth up really bad.
Yeah, remember remember they prided themselves on never getting like soggy or anything, right?
Yeah, because I remember I never liked it because like it would every time I'd have a bowl, like afterwards my gums or the top of my mouth would be all bloody. Yeah, from all the cuts and stuff.
It was like you drinking iron at the same time you eat Captain Crunch. It's all bloody.
It's like you get the sugar in your system quicker because it cuts.
I know. You would power through for that sugar, huh? It's like fuck. I gotta have the sugar. God damn it. I'm gonna be all fucked up, but I'm gonna eat this shit. Yeah, he beat the shit out of him with the power cord.
Did he kill the guy or did he?
No, he didn't kill him. He just beat the shit out of him.
Oh, okay. It wasn't that serious then.
No, well, he beat him up. I guess he beat him up pretty good. I mean, come on. You can imagine being hit with like a power cord. You know, that's gotta hurt. And this guy was just wailing on him. He beat the fuck out of him. For cereal, man. For cereal.
Oh man, if you would have killed him, he would have been a serial killer.
He would have. Bada bing.
In Spokane, basically, if you want to set up a pot store and sell your pot, you can't be, like 1,000 feet from like a school or a library.
Sure. Yeah.
Or an arcade.
Certain places are off limits.
Yeah. So I guess there's this group of people that were setting up fake fun arcades near the pot store, so they wouldn't be able to move into the areas.
So the pot stores couldn't be there. They would put up these arcades.
This one pot store is called in Spokane. It's called Smocan, which I thought was pretty funny.
All right, it's pretty
so
clever.
They wanted to move to a new location, and so basically this group set up what they called an old-fashioned fun arcade for all ages. So basically, Spokane just dismissed these fake arcade business claims, allowing the marijuana shops to move into its new location.
Well, first of all, there's no fucking arcade games anymore.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, who the fuck goes to an arcade?
They don't have arcades. They got rid of those in the early 90s. So, what the hell was they putting in there, man? There's no fucking arcade games. God, man. If this was like in the 80s, I get it. Yeah, you could do that. Okay, so these two geniuses tried to set up... So they basically tried having a front. So they're basically worse than a drug dealing spot.
Yeah, they're basically worse than a drug dealer because...
they had a front. So the judge made them take down their shop or what?
Yeah, so made them take down the shop and they allowed the pot place to basically move to the new location because they were trying to get them so they couldn't go in there and start the business and basically to shut them down.
Free enterprise, peoples.
But I don't understand. I don't get why they do that. I mean, because they get a lot of tax money from those stores. Because
a lot of people still have the jaded fact that like marijuana is like a drug, and you better not ever fucking touch it. Don't touch it. It's a drug, damn it. But pass me that alcohol. They don't. They don't see it as. They see it as like the worst thing ever, right? Don't allow that into our neighborhoods, because then the neighborhood will go to hell. But alcohol doesn't do anything. So I think I see it from that point of view, is that they want to keep it out because it's so taboo. That's how we grew up, right?
Yeah, everybody grew up with that.
You grew up knowing that it was bad.
Marijuana was just horrible. And it's actually one of the weaker of all the drugs, I think.
There's like studies that go back and forth saying some people say it's the worst for you because it fries your brain. Some people say no, this is very beneficial, and there's certain properties in it that'll help you with certain ailments. So I don't know, it's kind of like the coffee thing. A lot of people, some studies say the coffee is super horrible for you, causes cancer, and some of them are like, no, it's actually beneficial in some ways. Not that you should, take it up if you don't need to, but there's no harm or detriment to your body you're doing to it. So I don't know. I mean, marijuana was put on this earth from God. He's telling you to smoke it. No, I'm saying I don't know why it's such a taboo. I mean, I think it's just something that's been in our brains for like the last 100 years.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's like, I mean, you're not buying it illegally. You're giving people jobs, or people could sell and smoke pot here or where we're at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, there's tons of jobs now for people to help grow it, and a lot of people who are selling it. You know, you got people running businesses
It's
now.
good for the economy. It's good for the economy.
Because there's a certain part. There's like there's a main part of town, and then there's like a smaller town next to it. Mm-hmm. And the bigger part of town, they're pretty conservative and uptight, and they won't allow any pot stores or, you know, in their area. But the little town next to it will. And they've been growing ever since. I mean, they got all this tax money,
really?
And they got tons of businesses coming in. And you get these guys from the bigger town. They're like getting all, you know, they're basically, their town's turning into garbage because you got a bunch of homeless people, and it's coming in, and it's always like nothing but just gangs and stuff there, because they won't do anything about it. They won't do anything to raise tax money to help with their situation.
So I wonder how bad it's going to have to get before they actually see that, hey, being, you know, thick-headed is not going to helping you. It's not helping anybody.
Yeah, it's a bunch of rich people trying to keep a hold of their money and not wanting other people to profit.
Gotcha. So, you know, if anything, they probably have investments in the weed farms in the other town, right? And they're making money off it. You know, but they don't want to allow it in their town. So that's interesting. That's kind of fucked up. But I'm glad the judge, you know, ruled in favor against them.
Yeah, it was pretty smart on this part.
That's good. So another story I have that was kind of interesting is police have finally solved the mystery of why human feces kept showing up in a Connecticut cul-de-sac. So State police said yesterday they arrested a 43-year-old woman in connection with excrement left on 3 occasions in the middle of the same road in East Granby. So this woman, Holly Malone, has now been charged with misdemeanor breach of peace. I guess they were calling in because the people there in the cul-de-sac, the homes, they kept finding shit there. So they called the cops. Cops set up a motion-activated camera after the second incident, and they recorded her car. And they ended up catching her after the third one. And she apologized. The reason people knew that it was human shit is because cops found toilet paper in the area. So that's how they learned that it was. They learned that the feces was human feces. So when they found the poop, that's when they installed the cameras. But the lady said that she's sorry, and she told everyone, she told the cops that she's lactose intolerant, and she sometimes consumes dairy products. But she said there was no way she could have made it to the bathroom.
But this was something that was like continuously happening, right?
Yes. You figure one time was probably like
I can understand, right? one emergency one time,
Yeah.
but that's kind of weird that you doing that like every day.
So can you imagine, like, she would have just kept doing this?
It's like, oh, it's Friday, I gotta go do my shit over there by the cul-de-sac.
Why are you leaving toilet paper out there? I'm gonna take a shit before I get home so my husband doesn't know I shit. Instead everyone else knows that she's shitting because she's on camera, man.
We've been married for 3 years and he's never seen me poop.
So yeah, she got busted for it. I mean, you can look at the picture of the woman. She looks pretty nervous and scared.
Nervous and scared? What is it? Is it like a mugshot?
Yeah, like has a photo of her. Yeah. Yeah, let me see.
She's a serial pooper.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she looks pretty nervous, poor lady. But yeah, you know, I mean, if you got a shit, doesn't she look pretty freaked out, man?
She looks like she doesn't know what's happening. She's like doesn't know where to look, and she's just
she doesn't know if down is up or up is down.
She's all like she's sitting there. Like, it looks like she's thinking, "It's like, man, I hope this doesn't get on the internet."
And she's hoping, like, "Oh man, I got a shit right now." Do you have any other news stories?
Yeah, I got one. A farmer has put up a massive poster of a porn star in his field to keep his crops safe.
I said a porn star?
Yep, he has a poster of a porn star in his field to keep his crop safe. So Chenchu Reddy says his alternative scarecrow works, and he believes the picture to do magic as it helps his crops. The 45-year-old is growing crops in 10 acres of farmland in Adria, India, and said they have been attracting the attention from villagers and passerbys. So to ward off their evil eye, he decided to put up a poster of an erotic actress, Sunny Leone. The poster
So
reads
it's helping his crops, though.
to help his crowd. Yeah, the poster reads, "Hey, don't cry or feel jealous of me," and has a picture of the porn star in a red bikini. So basically, he says now nobody's looking at his bumper cauliflower and cabbage crop, as all attention is now on the scantily clad woman. He says it's been working because he hasn't suffered losses or any poor yield since he's put up the poster. He has the healthiest crop he's had for years.
You know what? Having that there might be smart because I'm sure he's getting a lot of guys who want to work for him. They just want to take a look at that picture. So in actuality, all the men that are working for him like for free just to check out that chick or helping the crops grow.
They probably show up to they get this like there's a prostitution ring in there, and then they find
yeah, I know.
Well, I'm here. I might as well get a job.
Yeah, I know. I'll just wait for Sonny Leone to come here. Damn. Well, hey, man, if it's working, right? I'm surprised nobody's complained about it.
Yeah.
Has there been much?
No, I
complaints?
mean, well, shit, it's out in the field. There's probably not that many people driving by it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just, usually you're gonna find one crotchety old person that's gonna be like, take that down. You're not supposed to see anybody nude.
Yeah, but I think it's India. They're not as uptight as us Westerners.
A little more open to that. Fair enough. And I just looked up Sunny Leone. She's not a bad looking woman.
Oh no, she's really good looking.
The guy's got good taste.
Yeah, that's a good picture.
Yeah, that. I always got good taste, man.
If I was driving by, I wouldn't even notice that there's a farm behind it. I was just like, "What's that?"
I know. What is this place? Is this the Bunny Ranch?
The Indian Bunny Ranch.
I gotta stop here, goddammit. So I got one more story. So this happened to a family who they had a family member pass away, and they wanted to get them cremated. So they used in Colorado. They used the Montrose Funeral Home.
Uh-huh.
Well, they ended up finding out that they got the feds involved, and they did an investigation. They found out the Montrose Funeral Home has a connected business selling human body parts.
Oh. And
what they got back from the cremation, they found out was not the cremated body, the ashes. It was actually family cement. So the person their family member died. They asked to have it cremated by the funeral home. The funeral home just gave them back a bag of cement and said, "Here you go."
Like a bag of Quikrete? And they're just like, or did they put it like in the urn at least?
I'm sure they put it in an urn. I'm sure they made it look official. But it was just fucking. It was
That's pretty fucked up.
I know.
That's messed up.
They were selling body parts. Yeah, they were selling body parts off. That was their second, secret job, secret business on the side.
Oh, was this recently?
Yeah, this was February 13th of this year.
Yeah, because I've heard of other places doing that. I mean, I remember, was it maybe 3 or 4 years ago? Like some guys got busted for doing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like a big operation.
So this has happened before. It says that they've been doing this for like the last 5 years. They've been giving selling body parts away for the last 7. But for the last 5 years, they said they didn't keep any records of cremations. So there's nothing to tie them to it. Yeah, they've been giving off fucking cement to people who said they were being cremated.
Really?
Yeah, that's pretty shitty, man. That's really bad.
Do people even look inside of those? Can you see the dirt?
I honestly, it didn't say. I mean, they were obviously wise to it. Mm-hmm. They probably thought like, hey, this is a little too, maybe powdery and not ashy or something, right? Because it says that the funeral home had been hit with 9 complaints over the last few years. Mm-hmm. So, I think that this wasn't the first complaint. So I think finally they got, they got the investigators to check it out.
Dude, after 6, that seems like a lot. You think after the first complaint, they'd be over there checking it out?
Yeah, no. And it said they had the supposed cremated remains of their loved one analyzed, and they were told the cremains were in fact cement. So maybe they didn't give them like clean enough fucking cement. It was just looked a little too much like fucking cement rather than ashes. They could have at least went to the beach and gave him some shit like that or something.
Wow, yeah, I know.
No, it was fucking straight up cement. I mean, we've worked, we've done construction stuff. You know how cement is. It's real powdery, but it's like more. It's not like ashes. I mean, I don't know why these guys are putting that in cement.
I don't know. I've never really seen ashes in
In an urn?
Yeah, in an urn. So I wouldn't have known the difference. I mean, most people probably have never seen them anyway. Well, I know a lot of people, like, they get, they dump them out over certain things, like,
Yeah, the beach.
Yeah, the beach, or like
something.
some lake or something that the person enjoyed. I wouldn't have been able to tell the difference.
Maybe because you've worked with cement before. Maybe
I've worked with cement, but I wouldn't have like put it together. Like, I wouldn't have thought they would put cement in there.
I don't know. These people did. It was obviously pretty obvious, or not obvious, but it was fishy enough that they had to go get it analyzed, and they're like, "Fuck, we got duped."
Yeah.
So it must have been not clean cement. I don't know what that means, but
so it's just like
but that shit was not.
It's just like a brick of. It's not even like it's not even powdered. It was just like cement. It's all hard.
I know. It's just there you go. We turned him into a brick for you.
Here's your mother. She's a brick now.
She's a brick house. Staying on the topic of death, I was looking into a little about the Grim Reaper.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's our subject for today. What's going on with the Grim Reaper?
Yeah. So the Grim Reaper has always been kind of, a little bit. He's been around history since like the beginning of time. I mean, that scythe wielding personification of death, and we've dealt with the Grim Reaper. I mean, everyone deals with death in some way, somehow.
Yeah.
Whether it's a loved one, animal, whatever. And over the years, it's always been there, and like you did a show one time about life after death. Nobody knows what it's like. Nobody knows what to expect when it's going to happen. But there's been some people who have said that they've actually like seen, the angel of death, aka the Grim Reaper, around when somebody's going to die. So I'll get more into that in a bit. But like I said, since the beginning of time, 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, death is one of them, right? He's got a definite name right there. Adam and Eve, they were tempted. God gave them immortality, and they were tricked into eating the fruit by the serpent. And basically, so by doing that and disobeying God, Adam and Eve experienced both spiritual and physical death. They lost that immortality, so they joined death. There's been stories over the years, about people wanting to achieve immortality, right? And one of the stories is the Epic of Gilgamesh. So it's basically Gilgamesh was the son of a goddess and a human king, but he was mortal. Him and his buddy were mortal, and his buddy ends up dying, and he's pretty bummed by it, and he's freaked out about death now. So he goes out for a quest of immortality. So he travels to I don't know how to say this, Utnapishtim. He's a human who the gods have allowed him to live forever. So Utnapishtim promises him, Gilgamesh, immortality if he can stay awake for a week. Well, Gilgamesh tries, but he eventually falls asleep. But Utnapishtim says, you know what? I'm still going to give you this reward. You tried, whatever. Here you go. He gives him a plant that has the power to rejuvenate whoever owns it back to, keep him immortal. But on his way home, a hungry snake devours the plant, and his hopes of being immortal have been dashed. Right now, he has to stay mortal, so he basically accepts it. He's like, all right, I'm a mortal man. Whatever. I've dealt with this. I've dealt with it. I know how to deal with it. But a lot of people, don't have that feeling of, what, I can just deal with death. A lot of people are scared of it. Like I said, nobody knows what to expect. Yeah. Exactly. And if you're really religious, if you didn't live a righteous life, you're gonna, burn in hell. If you did, you're gonna be in heaven. So depending on what you believe or what your mindset is, a lot of people are scared of it. It's like European culture, Middle Ages. We had the Black Plague. About 25 million people died during the Black Plague. People were basically afraid of the pestilence, pain, late stages of pain, disease, where your skin and your extremities turn black and gangrenous. And so everybody was really freaked out about it, because then at that time death was like a horrible thing, right? You basically suffer when you die, and you probably suffer after you die. So everyone was freaked out about it. So this kind of got people thinking, well, maybe death is just totally horrible. Versus in the story before with Gilgamesh, he learned to accept it and he was happy with it. With these people, it was just suffering and hell and torture. And again, especially during the late stages, it was just got personified as being like just pure evil and hatred and hurtfulness and everything that you don't want to deal with. So he kind of started around that time is when he started getting started appearing as a skeleton in artwork. Mm-hmm. Artists portrayed him as a skeleton form, in death. A lot of times he was holding like a dart or a crossbow or some other weapon in his hand. But it eventually got replaced by the Sith.
The sickle?
And it's not the sickle. It's a Sith. It's called the scythe.
Oh.
It's that long curving blade, and so a lot of people showed him just looking evil and having that weapon with him, and it's usually like he'd be mowing down like a crowd of people like just taking the souls by the handful, right? Mm-hmm. That was a lot of things back then how he was personified, right? Because millions of people were dying around that time with the Black Death. And they said that sometimes a young woman stood at death's side as a reminder of the link of existence between life and death, kind of like a balance. I haven't heard too much of that, but that's kind of something when I was reading about, I heard about. I thought that was kind of interesting, but I have a couple stories. So basically, one story was where a woman said she was 6 years old. Now she's a woman, but when she was 6 years old, she was having a family outing. They were having a barbecue. Everyone was just chilling. And her uncle, who lived with them at their house, he started choking on his food. And people around there started like helping him out. Like they just kind of thought he was just kind of choking. They tried helping him out, but he ended up fainting. And so they called the ambulance. And by the time the ambulance got there, he had died. So later that night, like family, they were pretty distraught. It was getting like, pretty dark. And family was showing up, paying their respects, doing prayer, all that stuff. Mm. And they were outside in the backyard, and she had went inside to go use the bathroom. And when she came outside, she could see across in her neighbor's yard. She could see somebody standing in the lawn. But this person was like, it was dark out there, but she could see the outline of them. Like they were darker than the night. And it looked like the person was floating because they were so tall. She guesstimated that it was about 7 feet tall. Again, she's 6 years old back then. She doesn't know, but it just seemed freaky to her, right?
Yeah.
And according to her eye, she saw like some dark red eyes, and she felt like the creature, if you will, was grinning at her, but she couldn't see any mouth, but she could just feel like it was just staring at her. And then she said it looked at her felt like hours, but it was probably like 10 seconds. And then she was able to move again, and she didn't know if she's the one that broke the stare, or if he let her go, But whatever it was, she took off running to the family, freaking out. But nobody believed her except her grandma, because she said that the grandma told her that when the uncle was choking, she saw that being standing next to him as he was choking and passing out.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so nobody believed her but the grandma. So I thought, like, holy shit, that was kind of weird. I mean, again, there's no way to corroborate any of that.
So she basically saw death come in, and when her grandfather died,
her uncle. When her uncle died, It was after that. Like later on, he was still like hanging around, and she saw him, and it's like she saw him, but she didn't think she was supposed to see him.
So did he? So did he take him away?
The uncle had died earlier, and death had taken the uncle that time.
I know, but
he was still hanging around a few hours later. No, she didn't. The grandma did. She didn't witness him until later, like by accident. But the grandma said she saw him when he was choking.
Okay, but my question is, did the grandmother see death like take him away? How did he?
No, she didn't say that she saw him take him away. She just saw him standing next to the uncle as he was choking and passing out.
Oh, okay.
So she didn't say like.
I thought maybe the soul came out of the body and like he like grabs it and takes it or something.
She didn't say that. She didn't say that. No, it wasn't like Mortal Kombat.
Come here.
No, it wasn't like Shang Tsung taking the soul. No, she just said that. She just said that it was that she saw him, that being, that entity standing next to the uncle, like as he was dying, he was like standing next to him, like maybe, assuming she was insinuating that it was gonna help him cross to the next plane of existence.
Oh, okay.
Who knows? But she didn't say for sure if she saw him take anything. But it was just, I thought that was weird because she saw it, and then the grandma said, "Yeah, I believe you because I saw it too earlier when your uncle was dying." So, and a second story I had was another guy. This was a kid. He was not too old. He was about 9 years old, and he lived like about almost like 3/4 away, like about 3/4 of a mile away from his grandma. Lived out in the country. So one afternoon, like one evening, he told his parents, "Hey, I'm gonna go to grandma's house." And they said, "All right, be safe and go." So he'd done the walk like many times. Grandma lived alone, just a straight walk, just like on a little dirt road, no hills, nothing like that. So he started going to her house, just kind of taking his time, just kind of looking around, lollygagging. Next thing he knows, the sun's already going down, and he's like, "Oh shit! Like I've just been wasting time." So he decided to pick up the pace. So he started to run, but as he started running, he could hear like somebody running behind him. So he was kind of freaking out, so he stopped. And the footsteps stopped too.
Oh shit!
So then he's like, "Well, he's like, well, maybe it was just my own feet." So he started running again, and he heard the footsteps this time, but this time they were louder and closer. And he wasn't too far from his grandma's house now. He was probably like 2/3 there now. Mm-hmm. But he was feeling really scared now. So he started sprinting, and when he was getting like super close to there, and it was already like almost like darkness, like it was still just a little tiny bit of sunlight left, he got like a real cold feeling. So he stopped and he turned around before he got to the house, and he says standing behind him was a hooded figure, same thing, about 7 feet tall. He says no facial features, but he felt it staring at him, and he was just freaking out like, what the fuck? And the thing, without a mouth or anything, it just says, "Go home. You don't belong there now." And he looked back at his grandma's house, and he could like see her kind of in the window, right? It was dark, but he could kind of see her in the window. And he looked back at the thing, and it was gone. So he was really freaked out and scared, and he just said, "Fuck it, I'm going home." He decided to run home. So he got home and told his parents. He just felt like coming home. So his mom called the grandma like to let her know, "Hey, he's not coming over." But nobody answered the phone, so the dad went over there to check it out. And when he got there, she was dead. She had been murdered.
Been murdered?
And yeah, she had been stabbed repeatedly.
Oh.
And the police said that she had just been freshly like killed like within the last half hour. And kind of on the curtains, there was like blood like on the curtains, like whoever had stabbed her was like standing at the curtains, like looking out the window. And like waiting, and he realized that was probably the person he saw in the window was the killer, not his grandma.
Oh shit!
And they never found the killer. Yeah, they never found the killer. The killer like just took off running into the fields.
So that time, like the death, he pretty much saved his life, right?
He did, yes. So he thinks that the Reaper wasn't ready for him yet, but he's pretty sure he's gonna see him again when it's his time.
Did he tell him that? It's like, "I'll see you next week."
Yeah, no. Same bat time, same bat channel. Yeah, but on this one, yeah, the Reaper the Reaper was telling him like, "Hey man, if you go, you're gonna be killed, and it's not your turn yet. We're not ready to punch your ticket yet. So go home, fucking dirtbag."
Yeah, because most people think of Grim Reaper, they think like evil or like villain, the bad guy.
Yeah, well, like I said, in the Middle Ages, he got really labeled as being pure evil, right? Because everyone would suffer before they'd see him, allegedly, right? So, it was never somebody good you wanted to see. But in this case, it helped that kid out.
He just needs public relations help.
He does, man. he's got that bad. He's got being one of the four horsemen, man, has really jaded him. People don't like that. People don't give him respect. He deserves. So I thought that was interesting. I thought the Grim Reaper, his history and what people think of him as, and what he can be known as, and maybe not. I thought are interesting. he either helps you. I mean, I guess he helps you in both ways, right? I mean, if you're supposed to cross, maybe he assists you in that. Or if you're not ready and you're running into a spot that you're not supposed to be at, again, he'll assist you. Like, hey, man, go back. And either way, man, he seems like a stand-up guy to me.
Every time I think of the Grim Reaper, I always think of Peter Griffin when he helped the Grim Reaper.
I never saw that.
Oh, you never watched the Family Guy?
Nah, could never get into that. I have one last quick story, if you don't mind.
Okay.
It's from my daughter. She's only she's 8 years old, so she writes, "At school, I was in the bathroom, and somebody walked in the stall." She was washing her hands. Somebody walked in the stall, and I looked in the stall, and the person was gone. She told me this was the haunted bathroom. She's been asking me to get the story on the air, so I had to do it for her. So I guess she was washing her hands. Somebody walked in, got in the toilet,
and then
she looked in there. Nobody was there. Nobody was there, man. Haunted bathroom. So she called me.
Those bathrooms with you pull the lever and like the back of it opens.
Like in Desperado.
Yeah.
Remember that bathroom was all shit.
Yeah, that shitty
filled?
bathroom and stuff.
Yeah, it was like shit all over the wall.
Yeah.
You had like remember that? Yeah. It was like real shit all over the walls.
I know.
And you hit that button. It was pretty good though. It was pretty nice. That secret door.
Yeah, that was a pretty good secret door.
I like that. It was like nobody wanted it. As soon as you open it, like
God, I would go in there. You have to be pretty hard up to fucking take a dump in there.
You can't, man. You're not doing that. You're gonna shit in the cul-de-sac instead.
Oh yeah. Maybe that was the thing.
You're not gonna shit in that bathroom in Desperado.
The lady's bathroom. That's what it looked like. She's had so much shit, so she was like finding other places to go.
I know. I know. I used to have a friend who lived with his girlfriend, and he didn't want to shit around her, so he'd go to the Chevron down the street.
Really?
So that's funny. Yeah.
Man, I could you imagine, dude?
It's like, man, I don't want to shit. I don't want her to know that I shit real big, so I just fucking go to the Chevron. I wait till I have to go to work. Go shit at the
How
Chevron.
long did he do that?
It was about 2 years.
Oh, 2 years? Oh, that would be awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
can't shit before you take a shower?
I mean, well, even then, I mean, can you just flush it down the toilet before anybody comes down to it? Or you just like...
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe she was weird and she wanted to be in there with him when he shit. And he's like, no, it's too much. so
I like to be very intimate
so he just,
with my shits.
Yeah, I know.
I would be connected to you.
Yeah, but that's what he told me. Yeah, he told me he used to shit at the Chevron down the street.
Oh, man, that'd be awful. I can't even imagine doing that. That's...
Yeah, man. He's so... Some people shit in the toilet, some people shit in the cul-de-sac.
I was like those people that can't fart in front of their significant other.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah, shit, fart. I don't know. So I think that's all we have today, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So, it's time to go.
So we're not here for a long time. We're just here for a good time.
Hopefully either Friday or Saturday we'll be posting them up every week. So have a good morning, evening, or night, and we will see you next week. And until then, stay strange.
Yep. Catch you next time. Till then, turn strange.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
If you enjoy the show, please go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you're listening, and please give us a good rating. If you want to share a story or have ideas for a future episode, you're welcome to visit us at www.thestrangepodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you.